broadly and in less than 5 minutes, if possible, why should anyone join a small group?
Oh, good grief. You're going to throw me the question that I could preach for days on.
Right.
So the question is so good. I think it's the question that so many people are asking that maybe a lot of churches aren't answering. A lot of churches just assume that people want to join a small group, and so it's kind of the field of dreams idea. If you build it, they will come. And you build a small group structure, and people don't come because you haven't necessarily shown them the need for why they need a small group, why they need relationships, why they need something more than just Sunday morning. So if you build it, they won't come. You have to show people the need. And so, again, the question is, why do people need to join a small group? Your spiritual life will suffer if you don't join a small group. That's one. And I think that kind of hits at the need. I think it's important. People need to know that if I'm not in a small group, then I'm not going to grow as quickly. I'm not going to grow as well. I'm not going to grow as efficiently. But that doesn't really hit at the core question people are asking, which I think is, what's in it for me? It's a bit selfish, but it's honest. And I don't know that it's a terrible question. Because we look at the landscape of our lives and we say there are all kinds of things that are vying for my attention. I've got my family, which is obviously good. I've got my job, which is obviously good. I've got hobbies, which in balance, those are very good too. Those are life-giving, and we need to have kind of those outlets where we enjoy life. We got all kinds of things that are vying for our attention. And so small groups just become more noise in our world. But here's why I think you need a small group. Because you're anonymous without one. And you show up on Sunday morning and you can just leave and nobody knows you. Nobody knows your story. Nobody cares. It's not that your pastor doesn't care. They do. They just don't know to care because they don't know your story. They don't know what you're dealing with. They're not psychic, and so they can't just intuitively know that you're struggling with this or you're dealing with that or you have these questions. So one is it helps to break your anonymity. And I know for a season you may want to remain anonymous, and that's okay. But there's going to come a time where you say, this isn't enough. There's got to be more than this, more than just showing up on Sunday morning and leaving out the back door. So that would be one. The other thing is we're all looking for healthy relationships. I think we can kind of look at our lives, and there are all kinds of relationships that we have, but very few relationships are actually headed in the direction that we want to head. Very few relationships are going to encourage us to pursue Christ with all we've got. Very few relationships are going to correct us, which I don't really want correction, and you don't either, but I know that I need it. I know that I'm not right all the time, so I want somebody to say, I love you, but you're wrong. Let's think through this together. So I want small groups help you be known. Small groups help to care for you as well. In a church larger than about 50 or 60, it's really hard to be cared for by paid staff. And actually, I think it's a faulty mindset to think that we're going to pay somebody to be our pastor, and so they're the one person that cares for me when I'm in a hospital, that cares for me when things are falling apart. Small groups become that place where you are loved and cared for and encouraged when things are difficult. So that's how we kind of pitch it in our church is if you want to be cared for, well, the guys that are on staff, I mean, it's not that we don't love you, it's that there are too many people for us to care for. So our pastoral care runs through our small groups. If you want to be loved and cared for, join a small group. If you're not in the small group, you're not going to be loved and cared for. So why do I join a small group? I think that's it. So you're not anonymous, so you be loved and cared for. Relationships are so vital to our growth, and they're a lot of fun. It's something that you will have to structure your life around because you're busy, I'm busy, we're all too busy. But small groups are one of those things that you're too busy to not be involved in small group. You're too busy with your life to not have people in your life that are headed in the same direction and that are going to encourage you and strengthen you and correct you and love on you, and help you understand God, help you understand your own story a little better. You're too busy to not be in those kinds of relationships.